So I'm in Bogota, Colombia. This is my first time ever in South America. So I'm in a taxi and I'm going to the apartment that I booked. I don't know how long it will take, but you'll get to see the same views that I do. Again, as I mentioned, this is Bogota, Colombia. So far, it seems pretty interesting to me. I can definitely smell a lot of pollution here, but I guess there are a lot of cars and motorcycles around, so I'm going to have to get good in Spanish very quickly, or at least become okay in it, because otherwise I might have a lot of problems here. I studied Spanish before years ago, but I didn't really have many people to practice it with, so eventually I kind of forgot it, but now hopefully I can pick it up again. So one thing that I think was kind of a good idea is that I took the yellow taxi from the airport. Once I walked outside of the airport, there are a bunch of guys that go, "Oh, hey, taxi, taxi." But I had that experience before in the Philippines, and generally those guys are gonna jack up the price big time. So it's best to go with like the official taxis, in this case yellow taxis. You'll queue up outside the airport, but I probably waited at most 5 minutes maybe, so it's quite convenient. that looks like a nice hotel. It's a Grand Hyatt. I've been to the Grand Hyatt in a few places. I think Beijing and Nanjing. The Grand Hyatt is pretty nice. Okay, okay. Oh, aquí.
Ustedes embajada
Okay.
norteamericana.
Oh.
Yala,
Ah.
esa es la embajada.
But one thing about going to a country like Colombia, where pretty much everything is going to be in Spanish, is it's kind of do or die. You get pretty much forced to learn. Now, I think the most important things to learn first would be like words of foods and like fruits. I don't know if you like to eat like chicken or something, eggs. Learn those words. Oh yeah, how much? Like if you go into a market, ask them how much. Oh, I wanted to show you something I thought was kind of interesting. So on their currency, this is what it looks like. I don't know if it's going to focus. Second here. So this says 20 mil pesos, and I was originally confused when I saw the 20. I thought, oh, it's just the 20, but I was told this means 20,000. So, oh yeah, and the one currency the one currency exchange place that I saw an actual exchange rate. I didn't actually look up exchange rates before I came here, but it's something like $1 is 4,700 Colombian pesos. This is the back of it. So this, if I'm doing the math right, this probably is like $4 or $5 here. Okay, I don't know what that is across the street. Okay, good, it focused again. Oh, and one thing to note, in case you are familiar being in the country where they use commas to separate thousands places. Here they actually just use periods or like full stops. So 4,700 in money would be 4.700, and I think the comma means what period would mean in countries where you have a comma that separates thousands places, and period shows the decimal place. So I guess here comma would be decimal place, I'm assuming. And I was really confused when I looked at the exchange rate. It said 4.700. But then I realized, oh, wait, that only makes sense if it means 4,700. So I fully admit I know almost nothing about Colombia. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have heard of Shakira and various cartels. Fortunately, I guess Colombia is famous for that. But Colombia has lots of other cool things too. And Bogota, I think, has several million people. If I'm not mistaken, it had something like 10 million people. I looked up the population, but maybe I am giving incorrect information. But I know there's certainly a lot of, several million people here in this city. And this is the capital of Colombia. This kind of reminds me of Indonesia, and maybe a little bit of Vietnam. But like in Indonesia, you'll have cars and then motorcycles or motorbikes everywhere. Oh yeah, and the country code, like if you're trying to call a number in Colombia, it should be +57. But I'm assuming inside of Colombia you don't actually need to type +57. That would just be outside of Colombia. Oh yeah, and when I came through the immigration check, that did take a while, but the immigration officer was pretty nice. And my luggage actually got taken off of the belt. Like when you go collect your luggage, there are a bunch of belts like in circles going round and round. And my flight was from Montreal, Canada. But because it took so long to go through immigration, I guess they took the suitcases off, and a new flight's suitcases went up. But eventually I got lucky and I looked for this. I found this suitcase like recovery place, and they happened to have my suitcases, which was really nice. So in my short experience here, I highly recommend to learn Spanish. Otherwise, you might not have a good time here, or at least might not be able to interact with locals that much. So here I'm going to be forced to learn and practice, which is a good thing. And one thing that's interesting about Colombia is that it has access to both the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean, and Panama as well. But I don't think any other countries have that, unless maybe Argentina is kind of in like a hybrid. It has the Atlantic Ocean and maybe like Antarctic Ocean. Though I don't think Argentina has access to the Pacific Ocean. So anyway, Colombia, so I guess it would be nice so that it's much easier to ship goods via sea, and you wouldn't have to go through the Panama Canal because Colombia has access to both oceans. And if you just look at a map, you'll see what I'm talking about. Like Panama, on the right side is the Atlantic Ocean, left side is Pacific, the same for Colombia. I guess this is street graffiti. I don't know what this means. I don't know if this is art or if this means like gang signs or something. I really have no idea. So I'm pretty glad that I'm taking a video of this. This is an interesting experience. My first time here in a taxi, and my first time in Colombia ever. Oops. One thing I definitely want to try is Colombian food. I don't think I have much experience with trying Colombian food, so see what it's like. So I assume you can hear the taxi driver with his radio. I mean, you can hear the music.
Le tiene miedo a Dolorán. Dolorán no debe faltar en su hogar. ¿Qué es ese sonido?
So we've been stuck here for a while. I wonder what's up. Okay, now it's a green light. My plane was originally supposed to arrive a little after 4 a.m., but my first two flights both had delays, and I think they were related to ice. And then the second one, I think they had to tow the airplane, and that was some delay. And maybe even the third one, the one that took me here to Colombia, I came from Montreal to Bogota, and that was actually a pretty good flight, Air Canada. Of all the flights I took, like the first one, the second one, third one, I thought the third one was the best. And it was also the biggest plane. I think there were 8 people in every row. So there was 2 people on the left side, and then there's a middle with 4 people, and then there was 2 people on the right side, and I was one of those I had the aisle seat on the right side. And it was kind of interesting because we were flying from Canada. They spoke both English and French. And then, of course, you're going to Colombia, so they speak Spanish. So pretty much every announcement they had to say in 3 languages, which I suppose is interesting, but it gets a bit annoying when the messages are really long. But it's interesting anyway. Like in Hong Kong, when you go on the MTR, there are always 3 languages: Cantonese, Mandarin, and English. But usually they're really short messages. I'm not really sure what that... Oh, I think this is a car park on the right side. I definitely look forward to eating local food. I have seen, right when I got out of the airport, I've seen some crazy driving, like people changing lanes super quickly and not really signaling. Kind of reminds me of Indonesia, again, a little bit. But somehow there's chaos to the order. I mean, there's order to the chaos here. But it's pretty orderly here. Just notice some people drive kind of dangerously. And as I mentioned about Spanish, like, it would definitely be highly beneficial to learn at least like very basic Spanish. But also, like, regardless, I think any country, you know, what the main language or languages are, you can get a lot of benefits by learning even like 20 words or something. And local people, you know, if they know you're a foreigner, oftentimes they appreciate that a foreigner learned their language. Oh, okay, that looks nice. a meat market and a fruit market. Okay, so now that I see that there's a motorcycle place there and there's graffiti right outside their gates, I highly doubt that a motorcycle place would like put that type of graffiti on there. So I think it's probably gang signs or just random people spray painting things. Yeah, as I mentioned, I guess part because so many motorcycles and motorbikes, you can definitely smell the pollution here. And of course also the cars. But it's not as bad as other places I've been. Oh wow, that's interesting. And this is I think this is a public bus that you can get on apparently, but the person I was speaking with said that it may be complicated to use the buses here unless you have a bit of experience with them. And I'm guessing it'll all be in Spanish, the buses. Oh, looked like some mountain in the background or a really big hill. I often like to buy food from the street vendors. I have never done it here, but you know, various countries I like to buy food from street vendors. So, I hope that I get to learn a lot about South America and can tell you all a bit of what I learn. As I mentioned, I've never been to South America, but it's really exciting. Okay, I'm going to end the video here. I hope you enjoyed this. See you in the next one.